Hi, my name is Melody Young. I'm a freshman at Center Beach High School, and the topic I decided to present today is called Healing with Water by Dr. Masaru Emoto. The concept of healing water isn't a new concept. It's been used ever since the beginning of civilizations. Sacred waters such as the Lord Springs in France, the Nordenau in Germany, and the Lacadi in Mexico, they're all water sources they're very well known to heal diseases. And in many cases, this water has been able to heal people, but there's never been a scientific verification to prove that water really does have the power to heal. Hado is the water that they treat, and it's known as the intrinsic vibration pattern at the atomic level in all matter, the smallest unit of energy. Basically, they change the subatomic arrangement of the particles in the water molecule, and by exposing the water to certain vibrations, it's been able to heal people for the past 2 decades. Here is on the far left is the Lord Springs in France, the Lacadi water source in Mexico, and the Nordenau in Germany. Korn found that every water crystal is unique, and not all types of water create water crystals. Amaro found that the transmission of information is affected by the environment, and it affects the subatomic arrangement of the particles in the water molecule. The hypothesis is that positive environments will result in water crystallizing, whereas negative environments will not create crystals. First, they took water samples from the Lord Springs in France, Tokyo's tap water, which is where the doctor is from, and distilled water. They froze the water from the Lord Springs and the tap water from Tokyo. They used a dropper to put 5.5 milliliter of water into each petri dish. They made 100 samples of each. They froze it for 3 hours in -25-degree fridge, and after that they took it out and looked at it under a microscope in a room kept at -5 degrees Celsius. The crystal structures were photographed and magnified by 200 to 500 times, and oftentimes the observer looking at the crystal did not know what he was looking at. Then they took the distilled water and placed it in several different vials. Each vial was exposed to a different environment. They first used 1 vial of distilled water to keep as a control. It wasn't exposed to anything. Select vials of distilled water, they wrote words on a piece of paper and they wrapped it around the vial. They made 100 samples based on the method above for each word that they used. The vials that were observed in this particular article were the words love and thanks, devil, and you fool. On the left-hand side, it's love and thanks in Japanese. They put it on a piece of paper and wrapped it around the vial of water, and they did the same thing to the words you fool. The other vials of water were exposed to music instead. They exposed it to cherry blossom music, which is traditional Japanese music, and the other was exposed to heavy metal music. This is how they exposed the water to the music. They put the vial of water in between the two speakers and exposed it for 24 hours. After exposure to 24 hours in each experiment, they used the water to produce 100 samples of 0.5 milliliter dropped into each petri dish, froze it for 3 hours in the same temperature as before, -25 degrees Celsius, observed it under a microscope kept at the room -5 degrees Celsius. They made a lot of samples just in case one sample didn't create a crystal. They made 100 samples for each kind of water, and here is just the petri dishes being filled with the water. These are the petri dishes in the fridge. On the top is the control, and that's the distilled water that they use. The second column, they use the cherry blossom music. That's all in the second shelf, and on the bottom, it was the heavy metal music. That's the frozen drop of water after it's been taken out of the fridge, and that slide would be put under a microscope to be observed by the researcher. They found that the crystals formed from the sacred water from the Lord Springs, and that no two crystals looked alike. Tokyo's tap water did not yield any crystals, though. Here's the crystal from the Lord Springs. It creates a nice circular crystal. And this is Tokyo's tap water. It creates a rough surface. No crystal can be found. For the distilled water, they found a simple hexagonal crystal. The samples wrapped in the words love and thanks created beautiful crystals. This is love and thanks. And the vials wrapped with the words devil and you fool didn't create any crystals at all. This is devil. And this is you fool. The vial exposed to the cherry blossom music produced beautiful crystals. And that's the crystal it formed. And just to get a taste of what cherry blossom music is, and we're not going to show any heavy metal music because we don't want to get any bad vibes in here. Next, the heavy metal music didn't produce any crystals. In the end, they found that water does have the ability to memorize information, and it's deeply affected by our environment. Good environments, positive environments, they yield beautiful crystals, whereas contaminated and negative environments didn't produce any crystals at all. Water makes up to 75% of our body, so exposing people to positive environments is actually healthier. Drinking water that's been treated just like Dr. Emoto has, it's called Hado water. He calls it his indigo water. He produced perfectly symmetrical water molecules, and he actually sells it. Hypothesis was supported. And this is a short video on a lot of the crystals that he produced that weren't mentioned in the article. There's no other way I can end this. This is honestly a really good quote to end my PowerPoint on, so we're just going to leave it at that. Thank you. And are there any questions? Yeah.
Why did you skip 3 slides?
I forgot to click it. I got nervous. Is there any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you very much.